What's up? Welcome into your Daily Buckeye Blitz for a Sunday, August 27th, 2023. We are winding down, folks, getting close to Buckeye football. Can't wait. Can't freaking wait. Don't forget, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we're going live, 4:30 p.m. Eastern. These shows are probably going to extend to about an hour. We did about 30 minutes over the summer, but now we're getting so much content to talk about. It's gonna, we're definitely gonna have to do an hour Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So YouTube Live, check it out. I'll always release the show on podcast version after, usually into the evening or first thing next morning. And then don't forget, Sunday nights, also YouTube Live, 8 p.m. Eastern. So come check us out. As always, with the YouTube Lives, hop in the chat, give me your questions, comments, and we'll do it. We'll talk Buckeye football. So that's what we do best. All right. So today we are talking wide receivers, our fall position focus, getting you geared up for the season. Hey, if you're ready for Buckeye football, hit like on this video. Thank you. Appreciate it. Don't forget, make sure you're subscribed too. So let's talk wide receivers. Brian Hartline's group here, the deepest, the best wide receiver group in the country, no doubt. So it looks like there's a clear two deep coming out of spring, right? Marvin Harrison Jr., obviously best player in college football. So last year, let's run through the snap counts. 754 snaps. Emeka Egbuka in the slot, 705. Julian Fleming running at the other outside slot, outside receiver at 503. Then their backups. Now this is where we got a little dicey, one or the other kind of thing. You got Jaden Ballard. He had 101 snaps last year. Then you got the true freshman, Carnell Tate, has come in, taken this wide receiver group by storm, has completely leapfrogged over the second-year wide receivers in that 22 class. And he is firmly in this two deep, in my opinion. If anybody disagrees, please let me know. I don't know how you say that Tate's not in this two deep. So anyway. And then Xavier Johnson will be backing up Emeka in the slot. He had 207 snaps last year. All right. So Brian Hartline, of course, we're talking about the offensive coordinator, but not full-time play caller. So he does have the offensive coordinator title, but Ryan Day confirmed last week that he would still be handling the majority of the play calling in games. But Hartline's influence is going to continue to grow. He's organizing the offense, working in, organizing the staff, the offensive staff. So the collaboration between Hartline and Day is going to be kind of like when Kevin Wilson was on staff, between Wilson and Day. So it's a collaborative effort. So Hartline, he said that he's learning from the best when it comes to his new role. And he's working with Ryan Day, offensive line coach Justin Fry. You got the analysts, Joe Philbin, Todd Fitch, and then the rest of the staff, So Hartline said, quote, "We have great guys on staff. It's always a joint effort everywhere. And obviously we have great guys in multiple categories. So we kind of let them specialize, if you will. We let people be experts in their particular area, and we'll lean on that. We're not going to let somebody study a certain area and then not listen to them. That's not the way to go about things. But that being said, it's a joint effort to make sure that I have an opinion, a strong opinion in every area. So obviously I probably didn't have that last year. With more responsibility comes more requirements. So I've got to make sure that I'm ready to give insightful information and not just fill in here." So obviously Hartline's had a pretty quick rise up the coaching ladder, but Day is 100% confident in him, and he should be. So let's talk about some of these receivers, though. Let's talk Carnell Tate. Marvin Harrison gave some huge praise for Carnell Tate last week. Harrison was comparing his true freshman year or his sophomore year to Tate's true freshman year, current situation. Harrison said Carnell is going to be special, man. I think right now he's probably at a better point than I was going into my sophomore year. I mean, I think he's amazing. He handles his business. He's always in the right spot, catches the ball, and runs great routes. So I'm excited to really see what his career looks like. I think he could be one of those best receivers ever to come to Ohio State. Yeah, saying something coming out from one of the best receivers at Ohio State. But anyway, but so far, Tate has handled every challenge thrown his way. He had a huge spring when he made the most of his reps while Emeka and Julian were out rehabbing. So that really accelerated his learning curve, I think. Hartline said about Carnell that he's done a great job since he became a Buckeye in January. He's very mature, has the ability to take the meetings to the field, holds himself or has the ability to correct mistakes in one try and holds himself accountable to any mistakes. So Emeka said about Carnell, Carnell is the first in the room to let you know if you had a drop that day. He talks a lot of trash and it gets us going. We have that competitive element going in the wide receiver room. So I love it. Brings the energy, brings the juice, and he's real freaking good. All right, so let's talk Julian Fleming. Apparently he has bionic shoulders. I don't know what that means, but anyway, he's had a lot of surgery on him. I know that. Fleming said he can't even count the number of times in games or in practices where a shoulder popped out of place. Ouch. That makes my shoulders hurt. Ouch. Anyways, give your shoulders some love tonight. He jammed it back in. He would just jam it back in and return to practice or return to the game, whatever. That's unfathomable. I could never. But those issues in both shoulders kept Fleming from ever getting to his full healthy potential, you know. Now both have been surgically repaired in the offseason. He's finally got a chance to show us why he was a top-rated wide receiver recruit in the nation. Fleming said, quote, hopefully with some screws and everything going on in there, they'll stay in place and we'll be good to go. It's great right now, just being able to get out there and continue to participate and feel good. So it's been a blessing so far. I'm just excited to continue to work. So he's 100% healthy. Love to hear it. Let's talk Brandon Ennis, the other true freshman. Hartline said that Ennis hasn't skipped a beat since he arrived on campus in June. Actually, I think it was early May. He said, I've been very impressed with him. Hartline doesn't love to compare his receivers to other receivers, but he did in this case. He compared Ennis to Chris Olave in the way that he wants to learn and asks a lot of questions. Hartline did say, quote, he's going to help us a lot this year. What does that mean? We'll see. Emeka had this to say on Brandon Ennis. He said, quote, he came in the last of those four receivers, and he's picking up the offense extremely fast, and it's a joy to be around. He's a great competitor, and he and Carnell Tate go back and forth a lot, which is fun to be around. Brandon is a huge playmaker. He goes up and attacks the ball, and he's strong and confident. He just balls out, tries his hardest, and there's never a half-hearted rep with him. That's what you love to hear about a freshman wide receiver. Emeka had this to say on Bryson Rogers. Bryson, he's one of the smaller dudes in the room, which is okay. He's a freshman. He's young, and we'll get that strength up and build more muscle mass, but he's super quick, super shifty. We have this Michael Thomas board in the wide receiver room that tracks our targets, catches, drops, all that kind of stuff. I think Bryson at the end of fall camp had a 90% completion rate when targeted. That's the highest I've seen since I've been here. If that was a national stat, he'd be number one in that category. Good things happen when the ball comes his way. So good news for Bryson Rogers. Emeka. On Emeka, looks like he was dealing with some injuries last year that they kind of kept under the rug. Harrison says that Emeka should have more explosiveness this year, and now that he's fully healthy. He dealt with injuries they just didn't really talk about last year, and it looks like Buckeyes, as of week one, plan on Emeka being the punt returner. So we'll see if he's the full-time returner going forward, but heading into the opening game against Indiana, looks like he's being trusted with that job still. So we'll see what happens. Parker Fleming, he's a special teams coordinator, in case you didn't know who that guy was. I love banging on him. Parker said, yeah, Emeka will be back there to start. We've got a bunch of guys that could go do that at a high level. We're trying to work through the details and when that and what calls and situations, but Emeka will go back there to start. So the other returners you have are Ballard and Brandon Ennis. So that'll be exciting. Big question I have is, will Hartline run a deeper rotation with all this talent in that room and seemingly these guys are ready to go? You know, will they rotate a little bit more? Will you see a fourth and fifth receiver out there occasionally? Hope so, but it's hard to take somebody like Marvin Harrison or Emeka Egbuka off the field, you know. So we'll see what happens. Anyways, talk to you later. Go Bucks.